My name is Slade. My
By
name
the
is
way, I'm
Slade.
recording it.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no. So we're the band Anarbor. My name's Slade. I play bass and I sing in the band. Danny.
I'm Danny. I play guitar in the band,
Nice.
and we are
And
Ann Arbor.
yeah, we're from
Yeah.
Phoenix. We've been a band since 2003, so quite a
Nice.
long time. But it's been a great trip so far.
Have you guys been like OG members since 2003 or?
I don't know if we lost Slade
Missed.
there for a second. So Slade started the band in 2003. I've joined the band about 6 years ago, I believe.
Okay.
I hopped on to help out with the tour and play some guitar, and then it just turned into a permanent thing. We kept writing music and moving things forward. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. And Slade, I guess this is more a question for you then. Was this your brainchild? Like, how did Ann Arbor really come to be?
Well, back in the high school days, almost earlier than that, we were into like, the whole drive-through record work tour
Hmm.
scene, me and some friends, and we never really played any instruments. So we were like, let's start a band. And,
Sweet.
after a couple of years, we all kind of, you know, acquired instruments. And I had already been taking singing lessons because I don't know why, because I'm weird. And, and we just kind of formed the band. So it wasn't anything that was like, like none of us were like extremely good at what we did. We was kind of just like by chance, and it kind of happened just the way that it happened. And then Danny joined around 2015, and he's just been a blessing ever since. So I wish I had him at
That's
the
awesome.
beginning, to be honest.
Yeah. I love when life kind of just puts you together like that. It's definitely meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's funny.
Yeah. So as a band who's been around for around 2 decades almost,
Hmm.
how would you say you kind of like keep your music true to you, but also exciting for like new listeners and new audience members?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, it's hard because the fans are always going to be nostalgic. Well, I guess you're going to have
Hmm.
a whole bunch of different fans, right? So for being a band for a decade, we have, or more 2 decades, we have a lot of fans. The earlier fans are more singled out to like our old stuff, so they get more nostalgic when we play like more of our new stuff. However, we do have a lot of new fans that are into the new stuff, and I guess when it comes down to keeping us happy and keeping us like new and fresh, we kind of just do what we think is right. I mean, there's no cap or no limits for the music that we're writing. It's just kind of like, you think this is catchy enough, you think this is good enough, would you listen to
Hmm.
this, I think is like the main question. So I mean, that's my kind of process on it. Danny, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the last two EPs we did, there was the EP in like 2018 and 2020 we did the Tangerine EP. And those were definitely a little bit farther out from a typical Ann Arbor sound, I guess you would say. But
Hmm.
I mean, we learned a lot in that whole writing process and got to try out a bunch of new things and take different, avenues into making music. And
Hmm.
like this new record is like it's really special because we kind of harnessed stuff that we know that people love about the old music and figured out how to intertwine it with our newer approach in songwriting and kind of weave it together to make sure
Yeah.
that it is still something new, because if we
Hmm.
just wrote a record that's the same kind of chords and sounds and everything as like a way older album, it would just like be a disservice, and
Yeah.
I don't think everyone would think it'd be as fun. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well
that's
said.
a good point. With the new
and I
record, we
mean,
definitely try to give it a mix of like old and new, so you get a
yeah,
lot of nostalgic
Yeah.
sounding stuff
and it
pop as
creates
well.
for a good live show because you're getting, you're like hitting different points throughout the show, creating that roller coaster effect that you want when
Yeah.
you're seeing us live. So,
Right. Definitely creates a storyline. We love
Yeah, for
that.
sure.
Thanks, guys. That's super cool. So, what would you say, like, I guess more recently, but just whenever, have been your favorite like projects or performances or collaborations?
Ooh. Um, well, it's always cool, to collab with like MTV and, Cartoon Network and like all those big features and stuff are cool. When it comes to like music and stuff, I'd be honest with what we did on this new record. We have a couple new features that are like way out of our realm, which is really cool. Like, and when I say that, I mean like more on like the hip hop style. So we do have like a couple hip hoppers,
couple hip hoppers,
Some
hip hopping in
hip-hoppers.
on the track.
them damn hip hoppers on our track. No, we got some rappers on our songs, which is kind of elevates it in a way. So I mean, I would say that like this newer stuff is like probably the stuff I'm most proud of, and like I can't wait to just like get the feature out because it's like two brains on one, you know.
Yeah.
Right. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, we're excited.
Anything you wanted to add, Danny?
I don't know. He kind of nailed it. It's all about the hip hoppers, you know. But yeah, I mean, we've got them, and we have another feature on the album, which I think is the first female vocalist feature or collaboration.
That's right.
So I don't know. There's just a lot of really cool, like different textures that go throughout the record, but it's all tied together really well. So
yeah,
I think everyone's gonna love it.
Yeah, it sounds like your creative process is so like organic at this point. For lack of a better term, I know people say organic a lot in the music scene, but legitimately.
Well, I mean, it's hard to be I guess suppose organic about it because there's always like a formula that I suppose like me and Danny will follow. Not all the time, but I guess the organic way is to kind of follow your gut and to go with, don't overthink it and just go with more simple ideas are sometimes the better ones. So sometimes that organic first idea is like the one that you should go with, and that's like honestly something that you don't know, you won't learn until you've been in it for a while. But
yeah, and you also after spending years of writing songs, you get less like in your head about it, and it's a lot easier for you to like be okay with ideas getting shot down, because sometimes you have to cycle through a bunch of bad ideas and pitch a bunch of ideas that don't work to find the one that does, and we have like a really good flow with that, and it's like like it becomes organic, like you just feel it, like you can feel it at one point when you're writing the song and you're like starting to bob your head and you're like, okay, I think we found it.
Yeah, this is it, this is the moment. That's awesome.
Exactly.
I thought that was like so satisfying as not only a musician but just like a human being,
Exactly. It applies to everything.
It's satisfying, but it's also haunting because I mean I can't tell you, there's been so many days where me and Danny will sit in a room and just listen to the same part over and over and over and over again until we think of something. And sometimes we don't. So sometimes it just doesn't come, sometimes it does, sometimes it takes 10 minutes, sometimes it takes 10 days. It's just it's all with feeling, and it's all with like that gut. It's like, ooh, that's it, it's it, you gotta stick with it.
Definitely. I guess that kind of leads me into my next question, and feel free to like branch off as much as you want. This says like, as a band and as individual musicians, what do you hope to convey to your listeners? And I guess like talking about the flow and the creative process, like is there an emotional like aspect behind it? Is it kind of just like, I love writing music, like fuck it, I'm gonna write? Or does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, Danny, you start?
Okay. I mean, like it's interesting because I guess I started out somewhat as a fan of the band, when I was younger, and like saw their process, and then once joining it and like getting into the songwriting world, it's different. But there's always been like, the band has always had this underlying like like fuck it kind of punk rock attitude or whatever, and I think that's like always alive in it because we don't take anything too seriously. But like for both of us, writing music is our outlet. Like it's really important to us as people and our own mental health, and it like gives us that thing to work towards and like create something that you're proud of. So it's like it means a lot to us, and we have a strong emotional connection to it. But it's also just, I think my favorite part about writing music is, you have this whole idea when you're writing the song of what it's about and what it means and how it relates to my life or to Slade's life. And then you put it out there and you get messages from fans about what it means to them. And that's the best part about it. I mean, any form of art is like it's completely open to interpretation. And once you put it out there, it doesn't belong to you anymore. So once we
Right.
release a song, like it's not ours anymore. It belongs to everyone. And they can do with it whatever they want and think of it however they want. And that's like a big part of the beauty of being able to make music and have fans that have something to say about it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's always important when you are writing that song, when we're writing lyrics, we always try to make it relevant to what we're going through or what maybe our friends are going through, or just to kind of strike that feeling with, like, sometimes bands, some artists do it perfectly where they hit that that lyric with that perfect melody and it like sticks with you and you can't stop listening to it. Like that's a big thing for us is maybe we haven't hit it, but we always try to strive for that, because that's like such a big part. When music can like hit you in a certain way, you just always want to keep listening to it, and that
And
becomes
there's
like
nothing else like that.
there's nothing like it. Yeah,
Everyone has that
right.
with music. Like they have certain songs that have certain nostalgic moments that hits you at the right time in your life when you're going through something, and it just sticks with you forever. And if we can do that at least once, then that's
right.
amazing. So
And the most bittersweet part is we will probably never experience that with the music that we write, because we're the ones that are writing it. So it has to come from a second party to experience that, and so we'll never really know. But maybe we already have with other people, who knows? But it's just kind of the songs we write, and it's what it is, and kind of happens. And if it works, it works. So
that's awesome. So what are your influences? Like, what has been the pivotal like lyric or playlist for you recently, as I guess yourself? And then also, what are the influences of Anarbor, and kind of do you try to like mimic a sound, or you're just all original? You're like,
so like inspiration wise, I definitely go off of like life and lessons. I mean, I've been writing songs for a while, and at the beginning it was more of like it was more of like me, like a younger Slade, wondering what his life is going to be like, rather than having a little bit more experience, being in a certain relationships, kind of knowing how stuff works and how stuff kind of ends up. And honestly, it's most common for other people. Like everybody kind of goes through the same type of thing. So that kind of inspiration is definitely what keeps me inspired and keeps writing music. When it comes to the music, I think, and we touched over this a little bit ago, but it's hard because we do want to do whatever we want, and I think we did that for a while. But I think that this record, this new one at least, we did take in the fans' consideration when it came to the songs, and we did want to make it nostalgic for them, but we also wanted to keep it, we wanted to compromise me and Danny in the way that we felt about it. So we still wanted to make it stuff that we liked, but we also wanted to keep the fans involved and keep that nostalgic Ann Arbor feel. So it's tough. It's tough. It's always hard.
yeah, and I mean, I don't know. It's like we spend so much time writing music that, like, honestly, I don't listen to all that much music anymore. Like I don't find a lot of new bands like I did when I was younger. But it's like a lot of influences we'll take from completely different genres, but it's just like a little thing. Like we might pull up a song in the studio and be like, dude, listen to this snare sound. And then we'll be like, let's like find that and then make a song out of it. Or like we thought it was really cool in this like hip hop song how they did this thing. We're like, right, how can we write a song around that? So it goes, from anywhere, from like any genre, anything we kind of listen to. But for me personally, I think like Young the Giant was a big influence for like, I guess, guitar sounds and just those kind of riffs and stuff that they use. I think I employed some of that influence on this record for sure.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that kind of answered, you know, my next question about like how has your sound evolved over time, considering you have such, I
Yeah.
guess, a diverse record coming up.
Yeah, I think it, like, the biggest evolution of the music was more in just like getting better over time and trying out different things. Whereas, like, you know, super old school Ann Arbor is a lot of like, you know, just power chords and stuff like that, because, you know, they were a young band at the time, and that stuff is still awesome and super fun to play. But we tried new things of, like, you know, maybe the guitar doesn't need to be going all the time over every second of
Right.
the song. Maybe it fits, like, maybe each instrument has its own little pocket. And I don't know, it's just getting more polished over time. And after writing hundreds and hundreds of songs, you just get better at it and find out new little tricks and try them out and see what happens.
Yeah. And I'd say, you know, the one thing that keeps us Ann Arbor is the RLA is as any band is the singer. So like we could switch up genres and it's still gonna sound like Ann Arbor because I'm still singing the song, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the cool thing is like we've always kind of dibble dabbled in different genres where it's like swing rock, you know, straight pop, just rock. We kind of are all around the genre board. But we sound like Ann Arbor is because it's my voice and it's always going to be like that. So no
And
matter
you have
what,
an
whoever's
incredibly
trying to
unique sounding voice. So we're
Thanks,
pretty
bro.
lucky on that front. Like, you know.
Appreciate it, bro. Yeah.
And
So
the
I mean,
range.
what? Yeah. Thank you. Well, I'm getting
You're
old now.
Yeah. Dude, he's still got
No,
it.
no. When you like, we got pigeonholed, which is honestly not a bad thing because emo's kind of circling back around. But we got pigeonholed as like a Warped Tour band, and we kept the nostalgic fan, so I'm not really complaining about it.
I'm glad that you mentioned that. I think I definitely had the like emo perspective on you guys, but
Yeah.
listening to more of your recent releases, like your, what was it, Drugs, that just came out
Yeah.
not too long ago. I was like, whoa, okay, this is not what I expected, but it was a great surprise. And it did sound like you, but it sounded like modern at the same time.
Yeah. Exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's next for you guys? What can we expect from you guys as a band coming up?
Well, we got the record. We're gonna trickle out some singles. So we'll have 4 singles until the album release. I mean, we should have some shows popping up here shortly. We got some merchandise that'll probably hit the shelves here. We have a whole rollout that'll happen. So until then, just keep looking out for shows and more songs. Danny, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, just, you know, following us on all our socials at Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'll be posting everything that's coming. So yeah, just new music videos, acoustic renditions of some of the new songs, all sorts of stuff. So very soon.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any more questions drafted, but if you guys want to add anything, feel free. And thank you guys again.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Sorry about last week too. Sorry about the confusion.
Oh,
But glad
it's all
we got to
good.
take
I'm gonna stop recording.
care of today. So
Yeah, same.